Most of what you said today disappeared the moment it left you. But one line stayed, and your mind keeps picking it up, turning it over, checking it for damage. It is rarely the big things. Not the speech, not the argument, not the moment everyone was watching. It is something small. A reply that came out flatter than you meant. A joke that landed half a second wrong. A sentence you would have phrased more carefully if you'd had one more breath to think. And now, hours later, in a moment that holds nothing to do with it, standing at the sink, waiting for a light to change, somewhere on the edge of sleep, it comes back. Uninvited, word for word. You replay it, then you replay your version, the one where you said it cleaner, where your tone was right, where you didn't leave that small dent in the air. Here is the strange part. You are not really remembering the moment. You are trying to repair it. Your mind treats that sentence the way you might treat a door you're not sure you locked. You go back, you check, you go back again. Not because checking changes anything, but because something in you cannot quite accept that the moment is closed and already out of your hands. And it is out of your hands. That is the part that aches. The conversation moved on without you. The other person folded it into their day and kept walking. But some part of you stayed behind in that exact second, still holding it, still working on it. There's a detail worth noticing here. Often you can replay your own words perfectly, but you can barely remember what they said back. The whole scene is narrowed down to your line and your line only. That's the tell. This was never really about the conversation. It's about you and how you came across and whether you left the right impression behind. You might feel it as a kind of responsibility, as if going over it enough times will reveal the exact place it went wrong so you can finally correct it. As if the replay is real work and work is supposed to change something. But the moment is finished. The replay doesn't edit the past. It just keeps it warm. So why does the mind keep returning to a place it has no power to change? Because somewhere along the way, you learn that how you come across to people carries weight. That being slightly misread could cost you something. That one wrong word might quietly shift how someone sees you, and that the shift might not come back. For a mind that keeps a careful eye on its standing with others, a sentence is never only a sentence. It's evidence. It gets filed under how I am seen, and that file feels important to keep clean. So, when something lands wrong, a quiet internal monitor lights up. Not dramatically. Just a low, steady sense that something has been left unattended. And it keeps the moment open the way you'd keep a task you haven't finished sitting at the back of your thoughts. Never fully present, never fully gone, drawing a little from everything else you try to do. This isn't a flaw in you. It's a system doing precisely what it was shaped to do. Watching, adjusting, trying to stay on steady terms with a world it learned to read closely, maybe earlier than it should have had to. But notice what the replay actually does over time. The first time the sentence returns, it carries its real weight, whatever it was. Small, awkward, forgettable to anyone else. But each time you go back, you study it a little harder. You add meaning that wasn't there at first. You picture the other person catching it the way you caught it. You construct their reaction out of your own worry, and then you start responding to the reaction you invented. By the 10th time, the sentence is no longer the thing that happened. It's the thing you've been rehearsing. It has grown far heavier in your hands than it ever was in theirs. You might even catch yourself drafting things. A clarifying message, A casual follow-up that would smooth it over. A way to slip the better version back into the conversation, so they end up with the corrected one. Sometimes you send it. And often, that's the thing that actually draws attention to a moment they had already let go of, because they had let it go, long before you did. There's a quieter cost running underneath all of this. While you're back inside that moment, you are not fully inside this one. The replay borrows from the present. It draws on a part of you that could be resting, or noticing something good in front of you, or simply being where you are. An ordinary evening turns quietly expensive, and you can't always name where the cost went. And you may have noticed it tends to arrive precisely when things finally go still. All day there was enough motion to hold it off. Then the activity drops away, and the sentence steps forward into the open space. The stillness didn't create it. The stillness just stopped covering the sound of it. Here is something worth staying with for a moment. The fact that one wrong sentence can echo in you this long is not proof that you're careless. It's proof of the opposite. It means you care how you land on people. The replay, for all its exhaustion, is a clumsy expression of something tender in you. You don't want to leave harm in your wake. You don't want to be the one who made the room a little worse by being in it. That instinct isn't broken. It's simply running with no place to stop. It never got the signal that says, "This is finished now, you can set it down." So, it keeps the file open, waiting for a resolution the moment itself can no longer offer. The other person closed it long ago. You're the only one still standing in the doorway, going over your lines for an audience that left. And here's a small test you already know the answer to. If a friend told you they'd said the exact thing you said in the exact way, you wouldn't think less of them for a second. You'd barely register it. You'd reassure them and mean it. The harshness only points one direction. The standard you're holding that sentence to is a standard you keep for yourself alone. You don't have to force the door shut. You don't have to argue yourself out of caring. You only have to see clearly that the work you keep doing, the editing, the rehearsing, the cleaner version you keep writing in your head, has no one left to receive it. The room emptied a while ago. The sentence will probably come back again. Maybe tonight. Maybe at the next quiet moment you reach. That's all right. You don't have to push it away when it does. You can let it arrive and recognize it for what it is. Not new information. Not a problem still waiting to be solved. Just an old habit of a mind that learned to keep watch. A part of you returning to a moment it was never given permission to leave. And you can offer it that permission now, not as a trick to make the thought vanish, just as a quiet acknowledgement that the moment is over. That you lived through being slightly imperfect in front of another person, the way every person is, every day, without it costing them anything. That you're allowed to stop guarding a door no one is standing behind. The sentence was small. It always was. You were the one who kept it alive, and only because some part of you was trying, in its own tiring way, to take care of how you move through the world. You can let that part rest now. The conversation is over. You're allowed to be finished with it too.
If this spoke to something real inside you, stay connected. There's more to explore within. And if you feel ready, you can subscribe and walk this path, step by step.